Alrighty, today's city challenge, the Blacksite Stealth, no Scrambler, 15 minutes, and hidden UI. It's not that easy to get a keycard with or without no Scrambler, which just makes no Scrambler all the more worse. And then there's 15 minutes, which means that we're gonna have to take some time to actually get said keycard, which just overall doesn't really help with no Scrambler being a thing. And then finally, there's hidden UI, which is overall just not that great, but it's not that bad either. And I mean, this part's actually skippable, as in we can just use the Scrambler, but unfortunately, because there's no Scrambler, we won't actually be able to do that. So that can only end well, I suppose. I mean, there literally is a guard over there with a radio walking over there. It is caused by me, after all, but still. Hopefully it'll go well, since there are now multiple people facing that way, which I am not looking forward to. So hopefully it'll... Well, I mean, all is going well. Let's move this first before that. There's no camera there, thankfully, so this is going, I would say, relatively well so far. So we could always start by just grabbing one of the 4 disguises that we have been provided, and then afterwards subsequently hiding them inside a crate over there, which, so far, is, for some reason, working out just fine. And we're not going to question it, because it's going just fantastic. But of course, now it's time to go over here, wait for presumably everyone to show up, and then afterwards, simultaneously move inside. Or if not everyone shows up, we could always just go over here and just move inside immediately, which works out just as fine, so I suppose everyone could go inside and hopefully not close that door. There's not even a camera here, which... I mean, I kind of brought that on myself, didn't I? So far we've got 2 bodies, which... it's not a great thing to have. Nor is that a great thing to have, but right now there are 2 radios which we will both want to answer. But that's all of the 4 guards, which I would say is a relatively simple clear of this area. And I'm not going to question it since it's working out just fine. And I mean, we did throw a few bullets, but it's not like it's bloodless, so it's going to work out just fine. Now presumably everything behind us is also clear as well, or will be clear relatively soon, so we can just go over here, pretend that the mess of bodies that we have behind is not a problem, and then afterwards just get this door open, drop everything down here, and then afterwards move along and pretend like nothing ever happened, which... I mean, works out just fine. So we could always go over here, say hi to that 1 guard, then the next 2. But first, we're gonna wait here for a bit, just so that... Well, I mean, if this isn't a time, I don't know what is, but that should be everyone clear, so we could always start by, of course, not opening cell B and instead cell C. And it's working out just fine. So we're gonna start by knocking out everyone, since we don't really have to care about anything over here. And I mean, if we're feeling ambitious, we could always go over here and maybe try and do something, but you know what, we're not gonna do that. It's probably not gonna actually be in cell C now that we're continuing to drill, but it's alright, we could always just wait for that to be done, and then wait for the news to see if it's either in... I don't think that's the answer, but alright. We could always see that it's actually cell B, which is a bit of a shame since we did specifically say that that was not the cell that we were going to open at the start, but it's alright. So once that cell opens, we could just go over here, all rush to actually open this cell, then simultaneously wait to enter this room. And so far, it is actually going steadily for this 4-player team, which we're not going to question at all since it's going just fine. And I mean, hopefully, none of us left the body behind or something suspicious since we won't actually be able to go backwards towards it, which is going to have things end quite poorly if a guard notices, which, considering that the guards respawn, it's not going to end well. So we're just going to pretend that none of that has ever happened, and hopefully, it's not going to interrupt us. But now that Rose is in cell B, it should be a relatively short walk to go into the room and get this door open, which I'm not going to complain about. But now to the commander area, there's going to be a lot of cameras, which we're going to have to be very, very much paranoid of since, well, cameras just aren't really that great. Especially for trying to take out everyone. But it's alright, we could always just loop all of the cameras, then proceed to take out everyone, which... I mean, there's a commander over here, so we're going to start by luring that commander. And it's going to go just fine. Provided that a commander actually walks over here, which is happening right around now, so we could always have you walk towards the keycard over there. So if you could actually see that keycard, that would be absolutely fantastic. And then we could hostage them, have someone hopefully answer that radio, because I'm frankly not even sure if I've even got one radio left, which hopefully I do, since that's relatively important for trying to not get caught, or more accurately, trying to not raise the alarm. But now that we're done with all of that, we could always just enter the rooms and see if it's in... Why are they all locked doors? Right then, it's alright, we could always just go through here. Go back over here, loop this camera, and, well, I mean, now we know where the commander terminal is, so that does make things quite simple in that it's over there, and we can just get out of here, which works out just fine. So we're just gonna get this door open. We're gonna ignore all of the remaining guards, and we're just gonna get out of here, since this is... Why are you up there? This is going relatively well, which we're not gonna question too much, and we're just gonna go over here, and it's all gonna go just fine. So now Rose is presumably gonna join our 4-person team and make it a 5-person team, and if we're being a bit overzealous here, there's also the commander, which will make a 6-person team. Not that it's a really voluntary 6-person, but it's alright. We can have Rose show up, and it's all gonna go just fine. I mean, that's kind of how it works, isn't it? So we're just gonna run through here, all the way through here, and then we're gonna get out of here, and maybe, just maybe, we'll bring everyone with us. But, excuse me, helicopter, but regardless, what was that knockout? That's the daily challenge, and it's just under 6 minutes and 30 seconds. Cheers everyone, have a great time!